this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So, we got some fun stuff. I'm just going to dive into it today. 6 items this time. I'm going to start into one that's really out of print. But I wanted to get a hold of this. I don't usually cover hentai. But this is one that has a reputation, and a really bad reputation. So I said, you know what, I'm going to cover it because it's actually suitable that this is actually a bootleg copy of this. It works because of the background, and that is the Sailor and the Seven Balls 2-movie set. And essentially. This is hentai that pulls from various series and episodes to the point without asking a single one of theirs permission. And got away with it for a while, so I don't really feel bad about not using their permission when it comes to this. I've heard that the art is horrible. It kind of looks horrid on the cover. Have you got the balls? But I've heard it's so bad that, and it utilizes so many characters from different cartoons and anime that it's worth watching because it's so bad, it's funny. So now I've got a hold of this kind of bootleg copy because the original copies are really hard to find. I think Brittany had a copy of the original, the first one. And you can see just, I print these, so, you know. But, yeah, I had to. There was just it just had to be done.
Sounds fun.
It is. It looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be just fun BS.
Well, something that's not too similar. Right now, Shout Factory, if I'm not much mistaken, is still doing their going out of print sale.
Yes.
And there's an item that's been on their list for a while. And I picked up, they actually did a Steelbook sale a few months back, and the first part of my pickup is from the Steelbook sale. But this is an item that's still somewhat in print with them. And so snap it up now. I think it's $10, so it's worth getting. And that is Dances with Wolves, the classic Kevin Costner film, starring and directed by Kevin Costner.
So Avatar.
Pretty darn good bit of special features there. And like I said, freaking Steelbook. So for $10, you could do a lot worse. And I think that's about what I paid for this. So I think I had this probably on basic DVD. Yeah. So this is definitely an upgrade. And I've so many times over the years I've thought about upgrading. I'm glad I held off because I think this is probably, unless Criterion comes out with a really good edition.
I could see Criterion doing this.
I could see it too, but this is freaking 3 discs. I mean, it's going to be hard to do better than this. But if they ever do, I might keep both, honestly. But good film. You know, you also got your Mary McDonnell in there, Graham Greene, a few other folks. Solid film. A little bit of that old white savior kind of thing that was so popular back in the day. Not as popular nowadays, but it's still a solid film. So
this one I got from SRS, and that is Video Psycho. Now, I like the way that this... I don't know what it is about the cover. It does have a cool look cover, doesn't it? That looks kind of cool. So Ryan is a drifter going from town to town looking for the perfect girlfriend. When he meets Kylie, he is instantly smitten. Only problem is, Kylie already has a boyfriend named Rick, but Ryan won't let anybody stand in his way be with Kylie. How far will Ryan go for love? I mean, usually SRS does a lot of the shot on video or low budget horror films, and I'm curious about it. It's, like I said, it's got a cool cover. It kind of reminds me of Psycho Gorman, which also was a fun film. So I will have to check this out in the near future.
Cool.
All
right. Now, I just was arrested by a thought that if you end up having this thought, let me know. But I feel like I hope I didn't do this order already on. And the reason why is the next one came with a bonus thing. And I'm feeling like I thought I presented that, but I don't know why I would have presented the bonus without the main disc. But sometimes Shout will do some sort of swag to go with their items, and usually it sells out after a while, and some of the stuff I've gotten, the swag was already sold out. But this one came with a poster that I was able to get, and I'm very happy about that, but it didn't even occur to me to bring it. And that is my Steelbook Blu-ray upgrade of a classic film by Satoshi Kon, which is Millennium Actress.
I need to upgrade my copy.
It's a very nice looking edition. I really do like this. And the poster, if I remember correctly, is basically that image there.
And they're on sale again.
Right. And this is basically, this does not have nearly as many special features. There's a little bit there, but not much. But I think that's still more than my old one had. Now, the one thing about my DVD copy, which kind of makes me think maybe I might want to keep it for shits and giggles, is it was actually that, and I think it was Ghost in the Shell Innocence, that I got in a 2-pack at Walmart for $10. I'm like, that's a pretty good deal, and I like that, but this is a much nicer edition. But if you're not familiar with Millennium Actress, you definitely ought to check it out. It's basically about a very esteemed actress who has become something of a recluse in her older years. And a fanboy is actually the director in charge of coming to interview her for a feature. And he has an assistant who is much less aware of who this woman is. And in typical Satoshi Kon fashion, this does not remain a typical film for long. Basically, the director essentially starts inserting himself into her life story, which is told kind of through a series of films, in a sense. And that's the best way I could think to describe it. It's a really creative film, wonderfully animated, just a really great film. Satoshi Kon was definitely someone that was taken from us too soon.
Needs a Criterion.
Yes, absolutely.
I think there should be a Criterion set with all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Paranoia Agent, all of the movies. It wouldn't have to be a big set. There were much lesser sets that they've released.
I'm just wondering when Shout's going to get around to including Paprika with all... They've done these big, fancy editions of the other films.
We haven't had a big upgrade for Paprika.
I know.
I need to upgrade Millennium Actress to Blu-ray. I do. So this next one is one that we covered for Inside Movies Galore for Ron's month. And that is Waterboy. I admit, I never had this film. I have a number of Adam Sandler's films. We'll be talking about Smith later.
Yeah.
But this one I did not have. It is one that was on my list for a while, and I was just like, maybe later. And you know how it is. You see a film, like, you sort of want it in your collection, but you don't feel rushed because it's pretty common. And this one's pretty common out there, and I'm just like, I can get it later.
That's kind of how it was for me to watch that movie. I was like, I'll get to it.
So it's like, it'll happen eventually. So it gave me the excuse to buy it, get it in a collection, and watch it. So, you know, it's a decent enough film. It's about Adam Sandler as a water boy. And he's a water boy for a football team. He gets fired and he joins this other football team, but they find that he has a penchant for being really angry and hurting people, and they like to use that in their football. And it has, of course, the Fonz himself in there
As the anti-Fonz.
as the coach, and it's really kind of fun. It's a very fun movie. It's well worth a watch if you like these types of comedies. I always considered Adam Sandler's earlier works, earlier comedies, as actually what, what was his name? The guy who did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. What's his name?
Jimmy Stewart?
No, not Jimmy Stewart, the director.
Oh, Frank Capra?
I feel like a lot of his earlier stuff are things that Frank Capra would do today.
Well, he did remake a Capra film, so...
And it actually... a very faithful adaptation too. One of these days we'll have to do a double feature for Inside Movies Galore of Mr. Deeds Comes to Town and Deeds, or Mr. Deeds,
yeah,
just to show the comparison. I was surprised at how close they were. So, you know, Sandler's a good everyman, and this is a good everyman thing.
That should be fun.
Except for his first film.
Yeah. And check out our discussion on Waterboy. I think it was a pretty good one. And actually, that's a good lead-in, because my next one was also a film we did on Inside Movies Galore. And it was actually the one in my Steelbook purchase that was not an upgrade from DVD. It was one that was new to my collection altogether. And I had a very bad first impression with this franchise, because I saw the sequel in college and hated it. But then we did, I think it was a twofer for Movies Galore, and I actually had a much better appreciation the second go-round.
Oh.
And when I saw the first one on sale on Steelbook really cheap, I was like, I gotta get it. So I got Rock and Roll High School. Nice film from the late 79. And this does have that, again, pretty good special features on that thing. It was a fun, it was a fun movie. I definitely got a lot more out of it, and Rock and Roll High School Forever got a lot more out of it the second time. But, I definitely enjoyed this, and like I said, I think that was kind of a fun one to add.
One of these days I'll have to get some of them. The Dances with Wolves and Millennium Actress are definitely on my list. It's just, do I want it or not? I think I got the Steelbook for Perfect Blue, though, when that came out.
No, that would be nice.
Because that was worthwhile. And I know I got the Steelbook for Paranoia Agent. So I swear they're trying to release all of his work on Steelbook eventually. And maybe I should just make that effort to get that Steelbook, because I don't think the Millennium Actress one is going out of print. So
not yet.
I'll have to try and get that. Maybe I'll do that. That way I can have a full Satoshi Kon collection on Steelbook when they release all of them. Because there's not that much left. It's like, what? You've got Paprika, and what else?
Well, did they do a Steelbook for Tokyo Godfathers? I don't remember.
know. And that's it. There's only 2 left. So, that'd be a good release for Christmas time. So this one was something from my childhood. I went ahead and added this as a card topper for a recent purchase. And I used to watch the heck out of this one. I had it on VHS when I was a kid. The other stories I'm not as familiar with, but this is the Chuck Jones collection. With Rikki Tikki Tavi, which was the one that I watched a lot as a kid. I had a storybook with it and everything. And this has Ricky Tikki Tavi, The White Seal, Mowgli's Brothers, Yankee Doodle Cricket, a cricket in Times Square, and a very merry cricket. I guess they love that cricket.
I guess.
But I don't remember the others. I kind of remember the visuals for some of these. Were you familiar with any of these?
Not really, no.
But let me know in the comments if you had this. I mean, this was something that I saw when I was really young. And the Ricky Tikki Tavi one especially, based off of an old tale.
I don't even think I saw any crickets on that cover.
There's a cricket right there, I think.
It's on the cover. Well, front cover, I should say.
I was going to say, it's on the back cover.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, I want to get it out and just watch it as a classic throwback. But maybe in the future.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a Chuck Jones collection, and Chuck Jones is classic artist. Well worth collecting some of the stuff. Very influential.
Okay. Very good. And, once again, you set me up, so that's kind of cool. Because I have a piece from my childhood. What I believe and what I'm almost sure is the first film I ever saw in theaters. I was 4 when this hit theaters, so, And I very much wanted to get this on Steelbook, and when it went on sale, I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. And that is Transformers, the movie.
It needs to be on Steelbook.
Yeah, it does, it would make sense. And this, it's got a few bonus features. Not as many as I would have hoped for. There's a few.
Touch.
Yeah. I was checking to see if they had that, like the music video or something, but they don't apparently. But this, of course, you got, wow, I'd forgotten all these people. It says, all-star cast, including Judd Nelson, Leonard Nimoy, Eric Idle, and Robert Stack, as well as famously, I think this was the last credit for Orson Welles.
I think he made jokes about it at the time, which was funny.
Right. But this is something of it's a little dated, cheesy 80s, but it's also just such a nostalgic thing. And like I said, I was glad I was able to get that.
So my last two are documentaries, and he borrowed both of them, but returned the last one just today. So I was like, you know what? Just so I remember that these need to be talked about, I will go ahead and talk about them now. The first one is a documentary, 2021 documentary called Clerk, about Kevin Smith. You want to hear more in-depth discussion about that, you can listen to Jake talk about it for what he watched in June, which should be up when I get the editing time. It's a fairly decent, it is kind of a one-sided as far as, it's more of a positive than neutral for Smith, but still it's a pretty good documentary, and it goes through all of his films, it gives you insight into each of his films. And that alone is worth it, just because it's fun to hear what he was thinking at the time, where he was at, what his expectations were. And there was some stuff I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
So it is kind of cool to see that, learn about the man. It is kind of too bad in a way. It's Kevin Smith is one of those directors I would love to have met and talked with in the early days, just because... if you had managed to get in good with him in the early days, you would likely still be talking with him now. Right. And you might even get a part in his films. But also, he seemed like such a kind of a fun guy to know. And he always seemed to be good to his friends.
Oh, my friends.
Oh, my friends.
Well, and also, the movie does do a good job as well. He's usually known as a director, but he has branched out quite a bit into quite a few different things. And the film goes into a lot of those different directions as well. And I didn't know half of that stuff.
Podcasting, comic books, a whole bunch of stuff.
All right. So, something a little less affirming. Amazon is getting ready to do Prime Day, and so the other day when they started advertising it, I did some shopping, and I kept my time on it to a minimum, and so it was very light shopping. I probably didn't find anything Prime related at all, actually. But I did find a handful of anime that were on very good deals, and a couple that were on very good deals. And this one also is an upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray. I actually really, really, really like the sets that Viz originally released. And I debated whether I was going to upgrade, but in the end of the day, this will take up so much less space, and it is a series that will probably look and sound better on Blu-ray, so it's probably worth getting. And at $15, I couldn't say no to the complete collection of Death Note. So that, like I said, much slimmer, smaller package than what I had before. This is definitely one of the most overhyped anime in existence. But it's also pretty darn good. Yeah. At least as long as L is in the picture. And even after, it's a solid series. It just, it paints itself into a corner that it never really fully gets out of. But another thing I will say about the anime, I've read the manga. And a few changes aside, it's a pretty darn faithful adaptation of the manga. So, I give it props, I give credit where it's due. It's an overly bleak and nihilistic series in my mind.
That's slightly.
But still, good times. I'm glad, like I said, I do look forward to watching it on Blu-ray. I guess I probably will sell off my other 2 copies, but...
Oh, mine are sitting on eBay as we speak.
Yeah.
My other one is the other documentary, which is Roadrunner, about Anthony Bourdain and his life. This was also a very well done and comprehensive documentary, and also hit a lot of things that I did not know about the guy.
Yeah.
So it's very kind of cool if you like Anthony Bourdain. I guess technically the estate has issues with this, but hopefully they've sorted it out. Let's say at least I don't see any big news stories about them fighting over it, so they're probably just talking it over behind the scenes. But still, I think that it does fit to the spirit of the man himself. He was also taken a little bit too soon from the world, but I'm not sure. He was already upset with the politics going on during the time that he was alive. Lord knows how he'd feel today.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He was a man who definitely spoke his mind, and that was there. So, if you like anything Anthony Bourdain, I would recommend it. It was very worth wow. Contender, both of these are potential versus words contenders. The nominees, I don't know them yet, but these could be. So right now, these very well could be nominees. They could be. Can't tell you if they are, though.
Could be. All right. Uno más. So, this factors into our discussions last week. We covered Puella Magi Madoka Magica, and we also covered the first 2 films, Beginnings and Eternal. And in the course of the discussion, we got to talking about other magical girl series, and in particular ones that owe a debt to Puella that may not even exist without them. Now, one particular show came up in discussion that I did not have and that I am interested in, but because I didn't have it, I wasn't really thinking like it's going to be a priority or anything like that. But it was part of the sale, and it was actually... I honestly can't remember what the price was, but it was a price that was low enough that I was like, I can buy this and not feel guilty about it, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And that is a series called Magical Girl Raising Project, which, if you've heard anything about this, you may have heard that this is another dark magical girl
Slightly
series. It says, from Lerche, the studio behind Assassination Classroom, Danganronpa, and more. So the comparison to Danganronpa makes you wonder.
Happy-go-lucky right there.
Assassination Classroom's kind of happy-go-lucky, but it still has some darkness to it. Koyuki has always wished to be a magical girl. She finally gets her chance and joins the ranks with 15 other girls. But the excitement fades when the girls learn they must compete against one another to keep their powers.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's just about earning candies, not putting their lives on the line. Right? It's a battle for survival when cute turns wicked in the prettiest death game around. So apparently it's a magical girl battle royale. Oh man, I'm going to love this one.
That sounds like a very fun series.
I look forward to that.
Actually, that one might even be worth putting up for the next discussion because I don't know if it's one that has a lot of discussion on.
Right.
Have you heard a lot of discussion in the anime sphere?
Not a lot.
We talked about it recently.
It's referenced a lot, but I'm not sure that I've really heard people go in depth on it.
Well, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and share. But we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.